See. Let me see why this thing dark. Hold on. Let me see. All right. Back to that. Yeah. Getting started. Getting started. Oh, one more second. Let me check one more thing. Yeah. Peace, peace. Getting ready to get this started. I hope everybody having a good day. I know I am. Just chilling, relaxing. Yeah, I give everybody a second to tap in on this beautiful day today. I hope everybody having a productive day. But I'll give it a couple minutes and we're gonna get started. Peace to everybody. It's like to give it a little grace period. A little kabuka juice, a little water. Keep my throat. How everybody doing today on this beautiful day? We'll give it a minute before a few people can tap in. Yeah, we're gonna go over a few topics today. It's gonna be a good day. Yep, right on time, right on schedule. I'm still in Michigan, but I'll be flying to Florida Thursday evening to do my family's eulogy. So I'm always, traveling and, doing what I need to do for my family. But I hope everybody having an amazing, productive day. So we'll give it a couple minutes and we're going to get right into the teachings. I say we give it about a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. We get a couple more minutes, so everybody bear with me. Yep. We get it started. couple more minutes. We're going to get started. So I hope everybody having a good day, man. A long week for me, man. I came in town and some things that wasn't expected. Now I have to travel to Florida to do my uncle's eulogy. So I got that going on, but I just wanted to jump on here for a minute because I got time. I'd be remiss if I didn't do my due diligence and talk to the people because it's imperative. Since I've been home, I've been running across so many people, and sometimes we take our work for granted. But when I meet people in, my everyday encounters, I was at the Back to the Bricks. They had a little old school car classic in Flint, and as I was downtown with my cousin, I ran across so many people that said, man, I do so much for them, for their spirit. And it was amazing, man, because a lot of times you don't think that you're reaching the people that you need to reach. But when I come back home, I run across so many of my friends I went to school with, people that I knew when I was in the ministry, and they just love the way I speak and the spirit that I bring to brothers and sisters, where I try to connect all brothers and sisters, no matter what cloth you're under. And I think that's so imperative right now as we lose a lot of our loved ones, and a lot of our loved ones haven't made their, heart right with their higher selves. And when the flesh started to leave, a lot of brothers be confused on the Holy Spirit. Like this Sunday, I'm going to talk about God and man is one. And in Moorish science, God and man is one. And I don't teach or I don't promulgate anything outside of myself. I have a clear understanding of all the religious rites. That's why I'm a sheikh. That's why I'm a Sufi. That's why I'm a tasawwuf. That's why I'm a medicine man. That's why I'm a shaman. That's why I'm a sensei. That's why I'm a rabbi. That's why I'm a priest. That's why a lot of my European colleagues call me Melchizedek, because the science that I teach and the message that I preach is international. And I don't operate on any biasness. I can go in any house of prayer, per se, and be accepted. Just like I went to a church this Sunday, and I give a message of God and man is one. And I know that we need our teachings resurrected, because most of our people, misnomer black people, they grew up in the church. But as they get older, they disconnect from the church because the message is not relevant to today. The teaching is not relevant for today. And the men or the women that's speaking are just not spiritual. They teach a dead gospel. And a lot of our brothers and sisters are just not, they don't have the aptitude, and they're not educated. A lot of them went to seminary. And I don't mean any disrespect, but seminary is almost like, I call it the mule effect or the monkey effect. Will tell you to do this and do that, and you only read what's given to you. And so you operate on Christendom. You operate on a system. You're not operating on the Holy Spirit and what's within, to where your message will only be accepted by a certain few. And you be confused of the name. You be confused of people that's magic workers. You be confused of people that's deal with the spirits. You have a false understanding of this whole, demographics of spirituality. It's a phrase in the biblical scripture, which I'm going to do Sunday or probably Saturday. Probably have to be Sunday because I'll be in Florida, but I'll probably still do it if I have time. And in the biblical scriptures, it talks about all those positions that goes to build, God's, Allah's word. You have preachers, you have teachers, you have prophets, you have seers, you have all those to build the body of the temple. And so when you get a lot of people that's biased in their understanding, they forget all those workers for the Holy Spirit that's needed to bring people to the house, and I'm going to bring those out. It's in the scripture. You have preachers, you have teachers, you have prophets, you have prophetess, you have magi's, you have holy men, you have disciples. All those are the body of the Christ per se. And so, for myself and seeing what goes in the world and how I'm accepted all around, a lot of times misnomer black religious people, the spirituality or the religion that they have or that they promulgate is biased, you know? So with that being said, man, I hope I touch somebody and I reach somebody. I hope a lot of our brothers and sisters get out of their prejudiced, dogmatic ways. I hope you have a clear understanding because the biblical scripture says, woe to you lying preachers and woe to you lying lawyers that confuse my flock. I heard a preacher say, why don't you want to be just a preacher and God don't have prophets and all this? And I say, preacher, you clearly, a lot of these men don't study. I don't respect old fools because an old fool is a young fool. And when you're trying to promulgate someone's religious dogma, it's not right. I don't know what scripture or what Bible that they're reading. I know a lot of religious people, no disrespect from Christians and Islams, they recite and they only read what the preacher or the teacher tells them to read. They're not researchers. They're not philosophers. They're not linguistics. They're not educated in language and know how to cross-reference and know that you can't translate or transliterate certain words. And you have to understand the etymology and the etymon of words. You have to know that the Bible is written in Koine Greek. And so in the Bible, it says, woe to you lying preachers. Also in the biblical scripture, it talks about all those positions that bring brothers and sisters to the body of Christ. You must have a prophet. You must have seers. You must have preachers. You must have apostles. All those are the body of Christ per se. And when those in Christian churches deny that, it's a lack of understanding. And a lot of what is that? 1 Thessalonians 5:21, where my people are lost. No, that's Jose. But 1 Thessalonians 5:21 says, prove all things and hold fast to what is good. You're going to have, and the Holy Spirit gives gifts to men. You give gifts of seeing. You give gift of prophetizing. You give gift of teaching. You give gifts of motivation. Everybody have gifts from the Creator. If we didn't have gifts, then they wouldn't be called gifts. And those are gifts from the Spirit. And all those gifts from the Spirit is used to bring our brothers and sisters to the Holy Spirit, not just one type of individual. Like in the Christian church, a lot of these Christian brothers and sisters are so prejudiced. A lot of my Islam homies are so prejudiced. I say, how you can't love your brother? And even in their Quran, they talk about you can't be friends with a Christian and you can't do that. That's man-made. That's asinine. And all of them have the same forefathers. As I broke that down a plethora of times over and over and over, which shows that our brothers and sisters clearly don't study. Clearly. And when you open things up to our brothers and sisters, they be lost due to a lack of knowledge because they refuse to learn. And here it is in the city of Flint where everything is divided. How? To me, it's sad, and it's a lack of understanding. When I tell everybody about Moorish science, and I say Moorish science is not Islam. It's not Eurocentric Christianity or Negrocentric Christianity. It's a clear understanding. When I speak, I let everyone know I'm under the triple rose. The triple rose, if you have to have a clear understanding of all three religious rites, the Fatimid, the Paraclete, the Jerusalem, you must have a clear understanding of all that. And we don't gravitate or even teach anything outside of ourselves. Even in true Islam, anything outside of yourself is true shirk. The true Sufis of old and ancient times, we taught the esoteric and the exoteric. I teach oh Lord, hold on, man. I teach all my muftis. Hold on one second, y'all. I gotta send this code. Give me 1 second. 1 second, y'all. I gotta send this code. I'm sorry. My phone keep blowing up. Sorry about that. But a true God, man, is gonna teach his brothers and sisters the esoteric and the exoteric. And a lot of these Moors, they have a long way to go. A long way to go. You know, a long way to go, especially from their understanding. Or you hear a lot of these people use catchphrases, the understanding, because a lot of these brothers are not studying. What they do, they jump from this to that because there's no loyalty and there's no true understanding and there's no aptitude of. It's just like I use the analogy of a coach like Bobby Knight per se. I don't know if anybody know who Bobby Knight was, but Bobby Knight was a good coach for the people that he had that was under his auspices, just like I am. You have so many different good coaches and you don't diss a person's style of delivering that message. A lot of these brothers that's new to the science, they're looking for a quick way out. And soon as they don't understand or soon as they don't like something that the God man is given, they're ready to run. Because these brothers be in different groups. Some of them might be in Greek fraternities. Some of them might be Freemasons. And so their understanding is a tittle because the heart hasn't been purified. Your heart must be purified in Moorish science before you can accept anything that I deliver, because I hold myself to a high standard and my vibration astroplanes all over. And if you're not a man of valor and if you're not a man of correction, it's going to be very hard for you to deal with a sheik like myself, because I hold myself to a high standard and I've been through so much stuff. And I have a father, which a lot of men may have fathers, but they don't have a father that will sit with them, that will study with them. My whole life has been study. I was able to sit back, how can I say, in a passenger seat and watch my father lead. My father, Larry Goodman, executive director of Genesee County, you know, done a lot of things. So I saw my father in leadership position. I was trained to be who I am. Nothing about my life is osmosis. Even when I was a child, I can start showing you pictures, and a lot of my muftis, as I show pictures, I grew up in a library. My whole house was a library. My mother and father are doctors of divinity. I grew up in the hood of West Patterson, so I was able to look at both sides. When I was young, was I attracted to a lot of things that I shouldn't have been? Yes. That's why I'm able to reach these young men. That's why I'm able to live in an area like Phoenix, Arizona, which a lot of people call a red state, and be able to minister and be able to go to all houses. I don't know, only know a handful of Moors in Arizona. And here it is. Most of the people that deal with me are Europeans, European Masons, European Jews, European professors. And I'm their teacher. I teach their kids. And they be amazed as like, man, I don't believe that you don't have this many people and you're not back in your city doing this. Because I said a prophet and an angel is no good in his or her own country. Now what I have is gratitude for being able to be on social media and reach so many people that didn't grow up with me or not from the same city that I'm from. What I have honor and gratitude is graduating from Grand Canyon University with a dual master's degree in first century history and religion and linguistics, and be able to be a pillar and be able to go in the doctoral libraries and lecture to students all over, and professors listen to me and be quiet when I speak. What I have honor and gratitude is meeting all my muftis, my divine Moorish ministers from all different parts of the globe, and they've been rocking with me for going on 5-6 years. So I know the fight that I'm up against when it comes to our people. I know the fight that I'm up against, especially when it comes to a lot of our empresses. We have a long hill to climb, especially when it comes to wisdom. Why? Because we gravitate to the niggardly aspect of our lives. We gravitate to the niggardly aspect of our lives, to the worst of, just like we promulgate some crabs in a bucket, which crabs don't be in a bucket. Somebody put them in a bucket. If you ever see crabs in their natural habitat in the ocean or wherever they live, the sea, whatever, the crabs stack on top of each other. And when the first one eat, it goes to the bottom and the other one feeds. So a lot of things that we have taken as word is nothing but dogma. Like it's no Willie Lynch. That's Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda. Alex Haley lied on roots. His ancestors wasn't no Kunta Kinte. It's all propaganda. Black lives don't matter because black is an adjective, and black wasn't never used to describe ethnicity in the first century. So the first thing that we have to do as a people and be willing to do is teach our children real civics and real history and real spirituality so they can grow, because the children are not the future if we're going to be implementing the same slave doctrine that we were brought up in. And I tell people, when are we going to break that chain? There's so many scholars and educators that people don't even know about. Like right now, how many people know who John Henry Clark is? How many people know who Ivor Van Sertim is? How many people know who Sheikh Anta Diop is? How many people know who Amos Wilson is? How many people know who Chancellor Wilson is? How many people know who Dr. Francis Quelch Wilson is? It's so many of our scholars that have written the word. And how many people even know about our Prophet Noble Drew Ali? How many people know about Deuce Muhammad Ali, Abdul Hamid Solomon? All these people in our time period that we don't know about because we've been programmed. And when I go through academia, and as I've been through academia, no disrespect, Europeans be amazed because they study us to a T, and they know this. When I lecture in the misnomer African American department in the universities, and they have those misnomer black students read some damn Willie Lynch as how can I say it, prerequisite. And when I lectured at GCU, all those misnomer black professors was quiet in a church mouse. You can hear a pin drop. And I said, why is this required reading for these students? And I can prove that this is Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda. They couldn't say nothing. Not one misnomer black professor couldn't say nothing. They're there looking stupid. And I said, but you're an educator. So you're going to promulgate this to the next generation? And what about the parents? Are you going to teach that to your babies? Because you know that's Eurocentric propaganda. You know that Willie Lynch is some crap. That's why I don't gravitate to man, and that's why I'm not here to make friends. I walk past a so-called Moor. I walk past any brother that I feel their spirit is not where it needs to be. Why? Because when you're from the spirit, you can judge the spirit. And I'm not, I'm at the level where I don't need to be friends with men or women because of who I am. And so I operate on that level. Since I've been here in Flint, I've been in Flint since the 13th. And I done spoke at all different houses except Moorish, except my people. That's why I say we so lost, because we'll never get nowhere because everything is competition. And I say you can't compete with someone that this is their life. And a lot of people do it part-time because they chasing a dollar, or they so worried about the next day, or they so worried about the car that they're going to drive, or they worried about the meal that they're going to eat, or the clothes that they're going to wear. That's not my concern. That's not my concern. So my whole life is ministry. My whole life is what I do. In these short amount of years, I done gathered and compiled over 20 books. I done authored over 20 books, and I'm continued to write. I don't ask no one to say, hey man, give me some dollars so I can write these books. What do? I write. And when I'm back home in Arizona, I'm at the college universities, and it hurt my heart as I share with all my muftis how the colleges want me to shut everything down just to teach on academia. And then I say, I'll be alone. I won't be able to reach the common folk. I won't be able to be a Pied Piper per se. So you want me to shut all my social media down, everything, just to teach in academia for a check? That was never the reason why I went to academia and became a scholar. It wasn't. I went to academia to create my own. Oh, who this is? He's blowing me up. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. But I didn't go to academia to just say, okay, well, I can go get this job in history or religion, and then I can't reach my brothers and sisters. Because everything was contingent on me signing the contract and not be able to do what I do. And when a lot of the professors and when the staff looked at my lectures and looked at my teaching, they were like, well, this academia. They're like, why are you doing this for free? They're like, are you making a lot of money doing this? I say, absolutely not. I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to no people and say I make like I'm some viral YouTube sensation. But because it should go viral, the people should, like I said, get the likes up. If you're on YouTube, get the likes up. But I'm not here for that because I do other things to generate money in real life. I wear a plethora of hats in real life. And so when I graduated from college, they wanted to have me strictly in academia, strictly teaching at the college campus, strictly being a lecturer. And I turned those things down. I said, well, you telling me this contingent, I have to sign a contract and shut my YouTube down and shut my Facebook down? They were like, yes, because what you giving, our students pay for. They're like, what you giving for small donations, what you ask for, these students are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to listen to you. They're like, you have a full library. And when I come on here, I don't help so many college students graduate from college. Those that thought that they weren't smart enough to graduate, those that thought that their aptitude wasn't on the level of academia, I got them in their place. I sat them down and I showed them, one, how to think. I showed them how to have the confidence. I showed them how to prioritize their day and how to study and what to look for and what library, all these things that I provide for the regular man. They wanted me to shut this stuff down. And I say I can't because this is my ministry, you know? So that's why when I jump on here, I ask for my brothers and sisters to give donations every time I speak. Do they do sometimes? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. But I still give glory, you know? I'm not one of these people that's going to get on here and complain, because when you complain, that means you shouldn't be doing it. And you should jump in another avenue. I'm not that type of person that's going to turn my back on ministry. What I do know, if I was back in the times with Khalid Muhammad, when all those brothers was on the battlefield, I know I'd be way more nationally known than I am today. And now we have the internet where my brothers and sisters can share it and we all have jobs. And it seemed like we have digressed. Then how can I say move forward? And so today I'm just going to highlight a few of my books. Like I said, I've done a lot of work. I'm going to come from this book right here, which is The Moorish American Light of Ali, The Moorish Adapt Study Guide, The House of Ali and Mysticism. These are books that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared out of my times of study. I've taken so many manuscripts and made them easy reads for my brothers and sisters. I've created You Are What You Eat, a little vegan snack book. We show you how to make dishes. I got a lot of different great meals in here. You know, I got a lot of great meals in these books. And when I deal with my European colleagues, they say, you done all this work. You're not on these people podcasts. You're not this and that and the other. You're not doing that. All this work that you put in these short amount of times. I made dishes, all these dishes in my cookbook. I've made, and these are healthy dishes that I took the time to gather and compile for brothers and sisters to be like, wait a minute, let me support one of my brothers. Let me make some of these dishes that he have in his cookbook. And I gathered and compiled all the information and put it in small little manuals so brothers and sisters can have and study. The Esoteric Science of the Moorish Fez, where you can learn about the fez that we wear, which is our national headdress, where you can get an understanding so you don't have to guess and assume. The Divine Pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle and the Moorish Salat, where I break down how the BBT believe. And then I show you that a lot of stuff that, no disrespect, that my Al-Islam brothers do is just tradition. I show you that I am a God and it's in your Quran. And that's the time for you to study and relax. I'll show you all this in the Quran. I'll break down what the Moorish Salat is. And you can go into the Quran no matter what no al-Islam person is saying. You can get the truth of the matter. You can get the truth of the matter. I wrote another book, The Healthy Living and Eating. Your body is your temple. Health is wealth. And in this manuscript, I got a lot of different workouts that I do. I'll just show in some little workouts that I do. Because everything about my life, I wrote manuals. I break down a lot of science about how to change what you eat. You know, I got a lot of different smoothies in here that I make, you know what I mean? What he say? He say, sign the contract and collect on your interest. No, but that's not what I'm here for. And I understand what brother's saying. That's not my mission. I'm not here to sign no contract. I do good in my regular life. That's what I'm saying. I have my own school in which the Burning Bush Tabernacle. So I'm able to go to libraries in Arizona. I'm able to deal with students that seek me out. When you go to GCU, they call it the vestibule. And in there, they got my little tickets with my name and my face saying, if you're struggling, if you need someone to help you study, that's what I do. So students seek me out. And what I'm saying is I do better when I deal with students. I don't have to do those things. And that's what I said about a lot of us. We have to get serious with our lives. And instead of always joking, and instead of always playing, that's what I say with a lot of our adult men. We at the level now where a lot of times we joke and play so much. And it's a time and a place to joke. It's a time and a place to do that. But it's also a time and a place to be serious and use our hippocampus and be like, wait a minute, man, this man is trying to convey something. He's not on here to be playing or a person that's to be joking and all that, which I clearly understand. But that's why I ask people, what are we willing to sacrifice? That's what I ask people. And when a lot of people come on my page and I say, well, do you support? Because I have a lot of men, and I'm on YouTube, Lamarck and Noble Moso. I have a lot of men that with bays and L's, and they be on my YouTube page, and they love to be on my page speaking and talking and things. And I say, well, do they support? Because if I had everybody that support and really do things, that's what I'm talking about. But a lot of us men, we play, and we will speak just to be speaking, with no conviction. And I ask men, especially these men that follow me and always speak on my page, do you support? Or are you a lauderer? And that's what I ask men. And I come from love from every individual man that be on my page. I done had men follow me for years, or I've been following you for 5 and 6 and 7 years. Okay, for what? Do you support? Do I have your support of your time, donations, for we can continue to build? Do you have the literature? Do you come to class? Or do we jump on the internet to just say something? And that's what I ask these men. Like, the play should be over. The play should be over with a lot of us, but that's what we do. Because if I just stop this and just work academia, I'd be done with this. I would have no interest in this. Why? Because my bread would be in academia. Because every time that I lecture on college, I get paid. Every time that I'm doing this right here, I have hundreds of students like I do every Wednesday. And after I'm done lecturing, they all buy books. I have a full library with over 1 million books and documents. That's no cap. One of my muftis just jumped on YouTube. My other mufti, Gregory Masso, he's on my Facebook page. They can all attest to what I'm saying. They done been with me for years. So when people jump on the internet and don't know me personally, I say that's a lot of our problems. We play too much. We play too much. Another book is a vegan snacks, where I show you how to make vegan treats and things. Another one of my books is Eurocentric and Negrocentric Propaganda, where I made a lot of the little elementary kids that I read to at the libraries. They never heard of Ivan Van Sertima. They never in their life heard of Ivan Van Sertima. And a lot of our elders, they just started hearing of it when more science became popular on the internet. They never heard of Dr. Francis Krauss Wilson. They never heard of Dr. Ben until recently. let alone read the research, let alone have a full library of these brothers and sisters instead of going to Amazon. I have every scholar that I talk about, all their books, all their autobiographies. I even got Marcus Garvey letters that I collected over the years that Amazon sells for thousands of dollars that I distribute to people that's into the science. And that's why I ask brothers and sisters, what are you here for? Are you a lotterer? Are you here to just be a troll? Or are you a supporter? And a lot of these brothers that call themselves babes and all that, they're just here to be trolls and lotterers, with no disrespect. You got Dr. Anthony Martin, all these scholars in history, Dr. Chancellor Wilson. So I wrote these manuals, these small manuals, to distribute to the children. Dr. George James, Stolen Legacy. When all these brothers that be in Greek fraternities, and when I know that they in Greek fraternities because I have your charter, the Greek is a fraud. But then they try to mix more science with it, and then they knowing that they have a potentate, and then they be all upset when the truth comes out. Sheikh Anta Diop, Dr. John Henry Clark. So that's what I'm happy to do. Dr. Marbiya Ani, which a lot of brothers and sisters don't talk about. They just jump on the internet. And I share this with the youth. 14 famous Asiatics in history. You know, where I talk about all these brothers, you know, Benjamin Banneker and Charles Drew, that a lot of our brothers and sisters never heard about. When it's so-called Black History Time, all we talk about is what someone gave us. When I break down all these people, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, that a lot of our brothers and sisters never even heard of, but the elementary kids know. That's why I do this work, because you can't teach this in academia. You're teaching slavery history. You're teaching a program learning. It's a thing in academia called a reading list in the chapel. And when you're in organized religion, they have a thing called the faith-based initiative, to where you have to teach and preach government program religion. Earnest, ever just. And I can't be compromised. You know, so that's just a tip to it, brothers. That's why I say, back in the so-called times when a lot of our scholars like Dr. Ben and Khalid Muhammad and all those brothers was having their own movements, and John Henry Clark, when you can watch Tony Brown journals, and you will see all those educators and scholars building together instead of disagreeing and arguing. And that's what a lot of these Moors doing today. They just on the internet arguing over baseless things because they're sovereign citizens. They're not basing nothing on nothing that's education and wisdom and leadership, because everybody feel that someone owes them something. Sufism and the triple roles of the Adept chamber, you know, understanding wisdom. And last but not least, the interpretation of the divine creed of Moorish Islam. And I also have a coloring book, but I didn't bring that one. So those are 11 books that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. I also have other books where I talk about revocable trust and all those different type of trust funds, because there's 16 different trusts. I talk about allodial deeds, you know. I have all these things down. You know, I will do it when you're done. Okay. I have all these books and things, so when I travel, that's why a lot of Moors I don't deal with, because all these Moors, they're mad and they arguing. Well, the prophet didn't do this. And these people trying to overthrow some government, and there's some paper terrorists. You ask any Moor on here, what's the highest grade that you graduated? They'd be happy to say, well, I don't deal with no white man stuff, or I do this. I dropped out of school in the 12th grade. And then I ask them where you work. Then I ask them what community you live in. You live in a neighborhood, you pay taxes, you do all that. And if you don't, you living off a woman on welfare in Section 8. That's what a lot of these Moors are doing. A lot of these Moors talk about they nationalizing and denationalizing people. And clearly that's a fraud. Clearly that's a fraud, because our brothers and sisters are not studying nothing. And so a lot of these brothers go to jail. So I just want to quote a little bit from one of my books. And it's entitled The Moorish American Light of Ali, The Moorish Adept Study Guide, and The House of Ali Mysticism. Because with me, the divine comes first. And it's nothing that a Moor can do for me on this internet. Nothing. It's nothing that none of these brothers can do for me. Not one thing. Because you go on these brothers' Instagram page, you see these brothers that been following me for years, Lamarck, they don't want nothing. They just want to say things. You know? They just want to say things. It's nothing about these brothers that's serious. All of them I call them paper terrorists. And then today, like when I was at the church in Flint, the other day, a lot of these brothers call themselves influencers. Everybody is chasing a dollar. You got Moors talking about they dealing with Bitcoin and they dealing with some Forex, but you poor. And you must have a certain amount of money to be dealing with that. I know this. That's why they can't come to me with that fugazi. You have to be registered on the SEC, all these things that must be valid. And when I come to brothers with facts, the first thing they do is be butthurt because I destroy that crap in 1.2 seconds. I say, you don't even have any real money. I know all those fake stats and all that stuff. It's influencer stuff. Nobody with no real money is going to show you how to get that type of money. And if you teach real classes, where's your classroom? If I teach you how to deal with the stock market, I'm going to show you my real classes. I'm not going to take no money from you. If I can take your 500 and make 5,000, I'm going to make you the 5,000 first. And then I'm going to take my money. Then you're going to be a student. If I deal with real estate, I have to take on the assumption of risk. And see, this is what I know because I'm educated in all these fields and I deal with real people that do this in real life. And they're not Moors. I deal with Europeans that do this. I deal with misnomer Chinese that deal with this. I deal with people that work on a Wall Street in real life. I deal with people that trade all different type of stocks. And I can tell you that Forex and all that stuff, you can play with it if you want to. So that's what I'm here for. I'm in my lane and I educate you before you do anything, before you make any decision. You shouldn't get all excited and somebody telling you, well, you should be doing what they doing. Why should you? If they're not willing to educate you on these matters. I never tell you to get in real estate and you're not educated on real estate because everything you do is an assumption of risk. We call it AOI, assumption of risk. Everything that you do in life is an assumption of risk. So if you're not willing to lose, or if you don't have a certain amount of dollar that you're willing to invest and say whatever happens, why should I be trying to convince a person that's on welfare or a person that jump on my page and they don't even have $5 or $10 to donate and they on the internet talking about investing and they on the internet talking about file some paperwork or they telling you that your social security number is attached to some millions. Man, if my social security is attached to some millions, why yours not? And this is the dilemma that's being promulgated over on a lot of misnomer poor, misnomer black people. Because you could never take this crap to my European Jewish community. They'll laugh in your face and they'll say, man, get that poor stuff out of here. Why? Because you haven't even proven, you haven't even done nothing in your own community. You don't even own the plight in your community. Here it is, I'm from Flint, Michigan, and I show people how to own land, and they don't want to own land. What they'd rather do is go smoke and drink. And I show people how to go to land bank and get property under tennis shoe money. I show people how to set themselves up as ministers, which is tax exempt from the federal government, and then start applying for grants and things that you don't have to pay back, and things that's under a certain auspice. So until we're willing to sit under or at the foot of someone that can educate yourself, like myself and my schooling, then we're going to be lost. Because you're going to always have these characters that jump on the internet that watch some videos and call themselves a sheik or call themselves a this, but you have a third grade comprehension level and you dropped out of school in the 12th grade. Come on, man. And it ain't no disrespect. And then people say, well, you don't have to. I didn't say you have to be educated and all that, but you do have to have some type of wisdom. You do have to have some type of education to know what you're doing instead of just losing. Because even with a lot of these brothers with these fictitious names, and I say that's just motivational speaking. That's just some kind of stuff. That ain't nothing so powerful. And they know I know this because I know the scheme that they running on our own people. I told y'all, I give y'all the book. It's a book called The Influencer. I gave it to all my members, my muftis. When I break that down on all them brothers that talk about, I'm going to teach you how to think, they be quiet in the church mouse, one to speak to me behind closed doors. All those brothers with those fictitious names, that's just fugazi. So you have to just say you a motivational speaker, because the rest of the stuff is meaningless. And you can't hide behind religion and think religion is going to make you $1. It's not. You have to sacrifice so much. I don't sacrifice so much to be who I am. I don't sacrifice so much to write books. I don't sacrifice my own money when I travel, when I go places, when I speak, when I have our conferences every year. We're getting ready to have our 5th conference. Like, I sacrifice so much, and I use my own dollars to do this. I give so much to people. If anybody that's connected to me that know me, when they give me something small, I give them way more than what their money can pay for. You know? So that's where I'm saying with a lot of these brothers that jump on my page and they have this and they have bays behind their name. And then you will see, and then a lot of my people, they be like, this dude is a joke. Why he always joking? Why they always playing? Because that's the mentality and that's the aptitude of a lot of these adults. And that's why I say, you know, I feel for a lot of the empresses, because a lot of our men are not serious. A lot of our men can't even fall in line to do some prophetic stuff. They want to be the one. You hear these more where I want to open a school. And I say, well, why do you want to open a school? Well, I just got into the science. Why do you want to lead men? What's the purpose of you leading men? They can't even tell you. And when I tell more, I said, man, I've been doing this for years. I'm getting ready to be 48. I had a young man on my page one day. He's like, man, you just the same age as my dad. Why you look the way you look? Because I live a certain life. I done been around the world. I done sat in front of people that don't look like me, educators and PhDs, and made them be quiet. I'm anointed and consecrated. So when I speak, I'm speaking from conviction. I'm speaking from understanding. I'm speaking from wisdom. Man, I speak from the triple rose. This is the clock of destiny. And so when average brother that call themselves chic and this and that, man, I just call them paper terrorists. That's all they are. That's all they are. It's paper terrorists. And you know it, and I know it. And this Moorish science, which I call poor science, because the average Moor has nothing. They trying to overthrow some government, and they dealing with women on Section 8 and welfare. This is true. That's why a lot of the women are not in the movement as they should be. Empress was asking me, well, where are the women? I said, a lot of these women, if I was an empress, I wouldn't deal with a lot of these goofy Moors. That's on the internet. That call themselves sovereign citizens. It'd be hard for me to deal with that type of brother that don't have no understanding why the woman go to work all day and he talk about the white man this, the white man that. And he's filing a whole bunch of goofy paperwork. And he's not in the community. He's not active, but these men have kids. And I say, what do you want your kid to aspire to? Because the kids don't want to be like their fathers. The women, that's why this movement has went down so far. It's a shame. And so I just want to give a little information and I'm out of here. And I'm going to be highlighting one of my books, like I said, The Moorish American Light of Ali. And if anybody would like to give a donation, I will give you a couple of my books. I will give you this book. If anybody want to give a $20 donation, I'll PDF you a few of my books. But when I jump on here, this is the first thing that Negroes be saying, Lamarck, Maso, Isis, and Empress. Who else on here? Let me see. And Victorious. This is what these men say. Oh, man, I don't have no job. I don't have. You jump right on their page. They got alcohol, beer. They got all of the fake designer clothes on. But they jump on here and they want everything for free. But I bet you they women go to church. I bet you they kids go to church. And I bet you they give them money to give to the preacher, to give to the church. I guarantee you. But when these men jump on my page, they come with nothing. They come with nothing. They come with nothing. And that's why I call this movement poor science. You can never have a building. You can never have a school because these brothers don't understand about that it takes money to have a movement. It takes finances. Brothers got to be willing to give a portion of their income. And a lot of these brothers are not there yet. That's why I said I'm dealing with the women, the children, and the college students to spread my mission. I can care less about some man on my page calling himself a Moor in this. And then the first time you correct their teachings or you correct their arbitrary explanation of things, they want to get mad and start accusing you, which I deal with a lot of men like that. And my moochies will tell you. I done deal with so many men that behind your back, they talk stuff. As soon as they see you, they scared like a little church mouse. That's why I said I judge the spirit. So I'm going to give a little introduction of this wisdom. Information is knowledge that should manifest into wisdom. Something applicable, meaning something that can be used and applied to your daily living. And when Moors know or are in the know, and subsequently this information transferred to wisdom, that's when it becomes power. That's when it becomes power. Theoretically, the absence or the lack of power is directly or indirectly attached to the lack of wisdom or insight and the ability to make righteous decisions. Just like I deal with so many brothers. I deal with the so-called Hebrew Israelites, and I told the brother, how can you be a Hebrew Israelite and you don't know the etymology of Hebrew? When I talk about, and they say, well, the 12 disciples and this, I said, man, listen, those were the 12 spirits of man, and I broke that down in Sunday school. As I continue to break the divine down and make it international, a lot of these brothers are biased, and it's a lack of understanding from a lot of brothers. More should understand whatever catchphrase you want to use, the importance of adapting and growing mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially. We must become educated and proficient in different areas of science and business in order to place our offsprings, our homes, in a position of thriving, educational, economically, forcing a large change in society. How are we going to build a nation and you got a whole bunch of people that don't like education, that don't like working with their hands, that's not intellectuals, that don't like gardening, a whole bunch of fake Bitcoin Negroes or a whole bunch of paper terrorists? That's not a nation. That's not a nation. That's some sovereign citizen stuff, which is an oxymoron. Moors cannot afford to continue to let others educate our children, teaching them pseudoscience and academia, debilitating understanding of why they need some form of applicable education. So when I teach this, when I say, what are your kids getting when they go to school? When they go to the public school, when they come home and misnomer Black history is slavery, this, slavery, his. All Black history is slavery stuff. What are you teaching? If everybody on here got kids, what are you teaching your kids? Well, I homeschool my kids. Clearly, that's not the truth because you don't have a school at home to homeschool your kids. What library do you have at home to homeschool your kids? None. What have you invested in? None. I have European students that have invested in me that have a full library that'll blow any more out on here that think they know something because they don't use their finances to educate themselves. I know this for a fact. What they do is just watch videos. I know this for a fact. I know this for a fact. And they always, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what about it? But what do you want your kid to be? What do you want your young empress to be? When you argue with somebody at work, when you argue with somebody in the streets, but you're not taking that energy, that negative energy, and turning to positive energy and resurrecting your home and teaching your son and teaching your daughter and teaching your wife, because your wife don't believe nothing you're saying. I know this for a fact. If they did, they'd be right here with you. These is facts. Like our prophet said, if I can get you to think, you can save yourself. We must believe in the capacity of our group to succeed. We be so worried about someone looking at them, and somebody have to put the work in. Somebody have to put the work in. It's always going to be somebody in a dispensation, in an era that's going to be the LeBron James, that's going to be the Michael Jordan, that's going to be the Allen Iverson or the Shaq. That's just not in athletics. That's in this wisdom as well. To be able to, okay, I got a brother. Yes, he's street smart, but yes, he's academia smart as well. Yes, he's spiritually smart as well. He can go in all those houses and speak unbiased science and reach all people. That's what a true sheep, that's what a true map, that's what a true clock of destiny map and guide consists of. That's what this consists of. This not no Negro just watch some videos and get on here and all he talk is hate stuff and everything that come out their mouth is hate. That's why I tell brothers and sisters, it's nothing wrong with desire and passion, but the direction and focus must be centered into beneficial and righteous outcomes. One pseudo-Greek philosopher quoted to have taken a student who desired knowledge out waist deep into the ocean and then asked him, What do you want more than anything in the world? The student said to have answered knowledge. The teacher then submerged his head underwater again. Then the student began to choke. The teacher asked again, what do you want more than anything in this world? The student replied, air. So the science in this lesson is when you want knowledge, when you want understanding, when you want community, the way that the student desire air, that's when you will get it. The battle is within. And a lot of our Moors, they don't have the aptitude. They don't. They just watching YouTube video to YouTube video. Oh, this person's so heavy. This person's so heavy. It's no dedication. It's no loyalty. Just like I teach Wing Chun, AKA sticky hands. And I was dealing with a sensei one day. And he was like, you know what, young Sufi? He was like, you know how to work with your hands. You know how to work with weapons. You know how to work with your mind. And your whole system is right. That's the complete body. So if somebody came to me and their sensei only knew how to work with their hands and they come to me and they want to learn more, I'm not going to diss your sensei. Your sensei was good for where he got you. It's just like when you learn mathematics and then you learn how to multiply. You don't diss mathematics addition because you know how to multiply. Those are tools in your toolbox that you add because you're going to need the addition again. You're not going to always be able to have to use multiplication. You might have to use subtraction. In your Moorish Quran, these are tools in your toolbox to do what? Build up character. I know so many Moors that don't even read the Moorish Quran, don't even have it. And I give Moors the Moorish Quran. It's Moors on here on my page right now that call themselves Bays and Alis and Els and don't even have the Moorish Quran. And if you sit up here and lie, I know you don't have it. Why? Because by the words that you speak and by the words that you don't speak and why you don't have a sheikh. I know a lot of Moors definitely don't have the Silent Brotherhood of the East and all those books that I shared the other day, Saturday, that go with the Moorish Quran. I know you don't have them. You can sit up here and say, oh, I got this, but having something and understanding it and then applying it is two different things. It's a Chinese phrase called Sudoku, where a lot of people just collect books to say they have it. That's the new thing in today's society, where a lot of Moors say, I got that, I got that. I don't care if you have it, you're not using it. And I know for a fact that the average Moor does not have the Moorish Quran. I know this for a fact. I know this for a fact. You can get on here and tell me you don't. You don't have the Moorish Quran and you don't have the Silent Brotherhood of the East. Because if you did, you would be rocking with me all the way. If you had all the books that go with the Quran, not the teacher manuals, but the book that constructed the Quran, the Unto Thee I Grant, the Brahmin text, the Vedas, everything that I break down when I'm doing Sunday school, all that stuff come from those ancient books. And then I know you don't have the Quranic study guide, the Silent Brotherhood of the East, the Catechism. That's what I call teacher manuals of the Quran. Because if you did, and if you understood it, you would be rocking with me today. You wouldn't have all these Moors all over the place. You wouldn't have a problem giving donations to the temple. You wouldn't, because you would understand what I'm doing and you understand what the Prophet did in those times. How could the Prophet have more science temples of America in Flint, in Detroit, in all these different areas, and it wasn't money involved? Where do you thought he was government funded? And that's where it comes with to our brothers. I say, this is poor science. This is no slander to no one. If you want to learn something, you should be dealing with a master teacher that's relevant on all levels, that not only can teach you, but can teach your child, can teach your wife, can teach any man spirituality. I have more different nationalities that want to be a part of my temple and school than Moors. I have more college students on the college campuses that deal with me than these Moors that jump on my page that say they don't have nothing. It's a reason why you don't have nothing. Why? Because you curse yourself with the words that you say. I tell people in the biblical scriptures, a penny is just as good with me as $1 million. That's what I tell people. I say, when you give something and you break something off, I'm going to give you everything, just like the person that donate $500 to me each week. When it comes from the heart. And everybody that know me know that, because I'm a giver. If you don't have regalia, if you don't have fezzes, if you don't have turbans, if you don't have a kufi, if you don't have a tunic or a kuthra, our regalia, you give a little, I'm going to make sure you have those things. Why? Because I have it all. I'm a source. I'm a map and a guide. I'm a producer. I have my own warehouse. I have my own library. I have my own distribution company. I don't help people change their lives. I read contracts. I tell people about Quick Po Crow. Chicago Law Review. I tell people about the Information Act, all these things to where I can help you get yourself right, to where you don't have to be dealing with pseudo things. Moors must want knowledge and wisdom just as bad as we need air. And we must desire it, and we must desire love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. My 2 cents, health and wealth. Moors must realign our goals and values, realign our communities, and uncover our true purpose. Our individual responsibilities as Moors is to be knowledgeable and informed, to be a valuable asset to our country, our communities, our families, and our friends. Moors must position ourselves to always be a part of finding and implementing solutions, rather than to be found among those who always manage to create more problems than they solve. You can jump on this internet, and I write everybody's name down. Every time somebody jump on my page and say something stupid, I know who they are. And that's one thing that Moors do, especially these men. They jump on my page and they open their mouth and show you how ignorant they are. Why? Because they always joking. They always playing. I call them Chester cats, always showing their teeth. And that's the problem with this. I'm not here to play. The foundation stone is set in the true knowledge of self, and every excuse is then taken away. Man's belief can be rooted in a belie. What? Of an appearance, a fail to give a true notion or impression of something, disguise or contradict. If a man would know, that means be aware of through observation, inquiry, or information. You must have that. You must be able to observe, inquire, and have the information, which a lot of Moors don't. They watch videos. They like, oh, that old man, he's somebody chic because he's old. And that person can sit down with me and they'll be quiet in a church mouse because everything they saying is fugazi. It done got people locked up, done got people killed, and I never send nobody to a burning house. And nothing you can get from me is going to get you locked up, killed, or nothing. I never tell you to drive without some license, and then these Negroes drive without license, and then these old fools show up with no teeth like that means something. And y'all don't know that these people already, they've been lying to people for years. But we love the pageantry. We love the pageantry, telling you to fill out some paperwork and take it to the bank. Like listen to these goofy ladies talk about they some Sharifian officers because they went on Amazon and bought a graduation damn uniform with a white fez on, all that retarded stuff. These people are retarded and they rot in jail. Like you some Moroccan governor and all that. You in jail. Ain't no Moroccan consulate over here in the States. Like, we so retarded with this stuff that it makes no sense. And I'm not disrespecting no one. I know men right now that's Moorish still believe in some sovereign citizen stuff. And that's code word for get your head bust wide open. And you know I'm telling the truth. You cannot be no sovereign and no citizen at the same time. That's an oxymoron. If you don't understand that, it's something clearly mentally messed up in your hippocampus. That you cannot be no sovereign and no citizen at the same time. That we're not here to overthrow no government or no constitution that we're all in. And clearly you confused of the words that the prophet used to set the temple up. Clearly you are confused. Clearly. I thought I broke this down a plethora of times. Showed you that the 10, 10, 9, 9 number ain't nothing but a trust fund at the end of the rainbow. I showed y'all the Moorish consulate book, how the temple was set up. You know, I don't get behind men because the men in that book went to jail for tax evasion. That's why nobody can say nothing to me when I speak. I'm not going to say names because they know who they are. They know better to come on my page with that goofy stuff. They know better. See, this illuminates the absolute necessity for each individual Moor to invest in personal enrichment and preparation by study, by research, the most diligent inquiry, the honest living, the unfeigned sincerity. And if Moors would choose righteously and speak and live positively, we would witness our lives in a very positive light. And there is a powerful synchronicity between speaking and thinking. Moors cannot see the light, walk in the light, or be light if we continue on speaking and living in the ways of total darkness, which a lot of these Moors are living in darkness. Why? Because you are arbitrarily explaining things. You are lying. You must understand clearly what the Prophet Noble Drali was saying when he made the statement of, more than anything, learn to love instead of hate. Learn to love instead of hate. If you're not even on how can I say, on the shoestrings of loving instead of hate, you got a lot to go. Most of these Moors are still angry. How? When you talk about some white man stuff, and the prophet had more Europeans and politicians on his team than anyone, just like I do. That's why I laugh at these brothers. These Moors are in a box. I know Moors that done got walked out of jobs with that hateful stuff. And it's no benefit when speaking negatively of others. How a Moor can determine the hearts of people that we have never met. That's foolishness. And the wise man leaves no time for foolishness. Neither should Moors ever put everyone into the same category or judge everyone in that manner. The object of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the object of the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, is to help in the great work of uplifting fallen humanity and to teach those things necessary to make better citizens of men and women. Do you see who the prophet had in his hand? The woman. That's why I tell our empresses, straighten up your crown. We'll never get back to where we need to be until a woman is standing straight up on the rock. Our prophet, and I understand in restoration and salvation through re-education, nationalization, and spiritual rebirth. When I talk about the Egyptian Adept, like myself and others, we successfully combine all the necessary and divergent elements of knowledge, information, and divine wisdom into a philosophical synthesis that was designed to accomplish that end. The most of our brothers and sisters, they just don't think. They're not philosophers. They don't know how to use their workman tools. They don't study. They don't read. None of the time. They act like this is a church thing, and this is every day for me. When I talk about lessons of divine love, in the doctrine of Muhammad, the absolute God sent extreme laws for extreme conditions. Buddha's lessons met the need for universal compassion. Confucius taught men to think, and Yahshua brought the kingdom of heaven and victory over death. That's why anymore we respect and honor all the laws and the prophets. Buddha, Confucius, Yahshua, Muhammad. If you don't understand that, it's something wrong with you. It's something clearly wrong with your understanding when you go around and dissing things, and we respect and obey all the laws and the prophets. If you don't understand that, you clearly are operating arbitrarily. We don't diss any God man in the flesh, any prophet that came for a good for his people. And that's the problem of these Moors on here. We diss good God people that done the work in the flesh. We diss them. Just like some goofy Moor jumped on my page one day, oh, who you think you, Dr. York? I said, that's what you think I am? Why? Because you mixing this and that and the other. I said, fool, clearly you don't know what Moorish science consists of. Our Moorish Quran is consisted of the Bible, the Rosicrucian Manual, the Brahmin text, the Avistas. This ain't no European gospel. And then the Silent Brotherhood talks about Jesus, Yahshua, going through the Adept chamber. Oh, for real? Yeah, for real, sir. So do you understand the analogy, the parable, and the symbology of the Bible? Do you know that Moors are from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood? Or for real? Yeah. Do you know that we under a Hebrew diet, a kosher diet in English is called kosher? Oh, you didn't know that. Because you're not operating on understanding. You're operating on arbitrary. It's almost like we playing Crips and Bloods. That's the problem with a lot of these brothers and sisters. But they don't know all signs and symbols belong to the primordial man. They have no understanding. So when they see me with all my signs and symbols with the compass and square, the first thing they do is try to lower me, just like they did the prophet, to a Freemason. But I am the shrine. I am the shrine. And I've been through all the houses. I'm initiated. I ain't took no oath. I'm initiated. You have to be initiated with the wisdom. You didn't think our prophet was initiated through the wisdom? You must be crazy. Something is clearly wrong with you. Clearly wrong with you. Nobody just fell out of their mom's womb all knowing. Yes, you come out your mom's womb with a clear understanding. And if your family have that wisdom, like my dad and my mom, I grew up in a house like that. But then I was introduced to God men in the flesh. I had the pleasure to study under God men. That's why I said I'm a Moor, and that's where it stops with me. But to this wisdom and to this understanding, that shows the small level of understanding we have when we diss God men in the flesh that done a good for people. Now, I'm not saying absolute power can corrupt men, but you had good men in the flesh. You had the Black Hitler of Harlem. You had Deuce Muhammad Ali. You have Abdul Muhammad. You had Abdul Hamid Solomon. You had educators, John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima, Sheikh Anta Diop. Amos Wilson. You had all these brothers. And when they was on Tony Brown's journals, they wasn't dissing each other or hating on each other. They was building each other, showing how far we got to go. These brothers understood. And today we have digressed so much because we deal with a whole bunch of brothers that's not educated, that this academia, and all our brothers that the books that you got from John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Amos Wilson, Chancellor Wilson, George G.M. James from Stolen Legacy, these was educators. These wasn't no stupid Negroes that talk about they dropped out of school in the 12th grade. Ivor Van Sertima, these professors. Dr. Ben lectured on colleges just like I did. John Henry Clark, all these brothers was professors and spoke just like I speak. And that's the problem with us when I said we have digressed. And so when a person get on my page and say sign a contract and collect your interest, like a lot of stuff I don't like when we joking. Brother should be like, man, we support you and we're going to help you build, but not be on here joking, because I'm not here to joke. I've been through the fire. I went and acquired all this wisdom for what? To bring it back to my people so they don't have to go through some of the things that I went through. So your child can learn at an early age. So when your child is going to college or seeking those endeavors or spirituality, history, or finances, they can have a good teacher like myself to where they can come to me and study. And then they can go in those, how can I say, systematically houses, and they can speak from peer-reviewed scholarship. And can no one talk to them or hate what they're saying, because they know whoever they're getting this information from is a scholar and an educator, and I'm gonna come speak on their behalf, and it ain't nothing that they can do. See, that's where I'm at with this, building our own infrastructure, not taking a dollar, because that's easy for me to take a dollar. That's easy. But I didn't ask Allah for an easy life. I asked Allah for my will and the Creator's will to synchronize, and it's starting to synchronize. And I said, I'm almost done with this. Like I said, I have my passport. I'm getting ready to go across the country and be able to do this without having to compromise nothing, you know? That's what I tell my brothers and sisters. We don't diss no laws and no prophets. We have a clear understanding. And a lot of brothers don't read the Moorish Quran, and they don't have a Silent Brotherhood of the East. They don't have the Quranic study guide. They don't have the catechism for understanding the Quran. You can't get on here and tell me you do when the words that come out of these brothers' mouths. You couldn't even tell me the idiotic stuff that coming out of these Moors' mouth when they on the internet. Clearly, you can't. What they doing is following somebody because they think they can file some paperwork and get something, and all you're doing is making a paper trail. When these Moors talk about they want to expatriate for some de facto government, I said, okay, when you do that, smart, goofy, who are you affiliated with? You are stateless, foreign and abroad, and you don't understand this stuff because you only listening to a tittle of these idiots on the internet that's using you as a crash dummy. But I bet you they won't come on my page with that trash because they know. And in a world of things manifest, Moors must decisively choose the way of love instead of hate. And if there be any hope of fulfilling the true purpose of living, you got to think back in retrospect, the multitude that has tried the life of darkness and themselves been destroyed and brought to destruction by the hatred and the isolation that it carries. Look at all these Moors that said that they're going to overthrow the government or they finna do this. Look at all them. Look at all the women. Look at the children. Look at all the women that done lost their children to the social workers and all that stuff, and done lost their house. We listen to people telling them to squat in houses. Look at all them. And as our prophet said, we are builders rather than destroyers, which the words adapt, philosopher, or mason actually imply. Those will become proficient in the understanding and the application of these lessons that I'm illuminating, taught through the various traditional, ancient, and contemporary avenues of philosophical, mystical, and spiritual learning. And when Moors understand the law, the responsibility is to aid our brothers and sisters to be of use to our country and nation, and take every opportunity to participate in the uplifting of others, to know God, and to submit to the will for our lives. And such is the duty of all men and women. But the carnal man, the carnal woman, never wants the light. They love the darkness because their deeds are evil. You see? This is what I try to convey to Moors. Moors must understand all knowledge. Self-knowledge is important, but God knowledge is vitally important. And one without knowledge of self is like a tree without roots. And one without knowledge of God has yet to become a tree. Moors must understand that anger is a plus. That's good energy when it's harnessed and focused by the power of a concentrated thought. That's when it becomes effective fuel. That's when it becomes a motivating power, capable of energizing and directing Moors, enabling Moors to perform at maximum strength, to perform the most difficult tasks, or endure the most strenuous circumstances in order to reach our desired goals. We are individuals, and collected our bodies, we must be of necessity by determined to act accordingly to law, and only those that abide within the law, aka law-abiding citizens, can demand equal protection and application of lawful directives to the body. That's the people of the government, which are regulated by the laws of the land, and to which the law gives life. All other individuals are criminals, aliens, undesirables, and they exist outside the protecting parameters of the law, aka outlaws, are classified and treated as enemies of the peace and retain the barest rights under this Constitution. You must know this. And the illuminating eyes of us Moors who know the secrets of every heart, we know that the work in sincerity, and we are guided in such in all the ways of life. But the insecure, the insincere, the workers of darkness are continually misled, confused, deceived by the very mist of darkness that encompasses them. The only person that can get hustle is you got hustle written all across your forehead. Our philosophy of Moorish science is a productive confluence of Kemetic mysticism, Oriental philosophy, and esoteric ideologies, all of which is to be compared by what we call the gnosis of the ought and the naught, or falsehood and of truth. As I close, we must learn to conquer up the divine faculties of our higher self through the instruction and application of the ancient wisdom by diligently studying practical application and the suffering of prudence through a proper knowledge of all law. I ain't talking about no stupid black law dictionary. I got every black law dictionary. They don't even use that in the arena of law. Those ain't nothing but terms. Those are terms. Why do you think they got black laws all the way to black laws 10? Those are nothing but terms. We deal with case law, precedent law cases, doc number, Free Information Act. We don't deal with no terms. And if you're dealing with local, state, federal law, one term in local law may mean something different in state law or federal law or indigenous people law and policy. If you don't know that, clearly you lost. You a criminal. And I know this for a fact, and I'm only giving you elementary wisdom. And once you are capable of clearly distinguishing between the worst and the best parts of your being, it's of the greatest benefit to subdue those baser instincts of physical or lower self. The better man is inclined to yield to the illuminating wisdom of the divine properties. In the words of our prophet, in the words that I love, I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm not going to get into none of the more the Adapt prayer, because if you want the wisdom, if you give a donation, you can have all these books that I gathered and compiled. I'll leave you with this. The question may arise, what is an adapt? Would you say, please, I remember I bow down to the suffering of experience and glory of much love. Gratitude and love to you. Gratitude and love. Gratitude and love to everybody that sent love to me. I sent out the same type of love. But the question may arise, what is an adapt? An adapt is a master of degrees, a master who has achieved the highest attainment and degree in the mastery of the spiritual sciences, physical sciences, and life sciences after mastering the elemental degrees. I've done that in my regular walk in life. When you would see me, you would think my life is just so simple, but it's not. I go through some of the same things that you go through. And as I incline my wisdom and my understanding, I have to battle those that feel less of. You have a lot of people in position that's not on the level that I am, and they look at me as a threat. I go through a lot of things. People say, oh man, your life is so great. You got your dad and this, that, and the other. I say, yes, but I have a gift and a curse as well. You don't think knowledge and wisdom around the people that's not knowledgeable, that sovereign citizens that just watch the internet and YouTube, you don't think that's a gift and a curse? Because if it was just a gift, I would have millions of people on here instead of a lot of people following these so-called people on the internet that's watching their videos and they talking nothing but niggardly stuff. So I know I have a gift and a curse. My life is not simple. You know, I have a bachelor's degree in business. I have a master's degree in history and spirituality and religion. I understand what goes on in the community. You know, I've been a part of organizations. And so I know what I'm up against, but I do it with a smile on my face. You know, because I understand that I didn't ask the Creator for a simple life. I asked the Creator for my will and the Creator's will to synchronize. And as it continues to synchronize, I'm going to be where I need to be because I'm doing God's will. I know this, you know, but I know I'm only going to suffer for a minute. I know this, and I don't compare my life to anyone else. I don't compare my life to a person with a job. I don't compare my life to Moors. I don't even compare my life. I say what's for me is for me. And as I continue to grow and learn, I'm going to be right where I need to be. Why? Because I'm a producer. I use my finances to produce. I have a business. Why? Because y'all see me doing business. You know I have a book company, mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z, where I converted over 1 million books to PDFs for you can download on your tablet or your phone, or you can go to Office Max and Staples and print it and bind it. You know I'm a businessman. I have my own company, Moorish where you can get all your Moorish American regalia. This jogger suit that I got on, you can get all this from my company. My other company, binditbooks.com, we print and bind expensive books. You know I'm a businessman because I'm quoting all of my businesses. You know I have a real school because you can go on our Temple and School webpage, which is www.bbtsciencetemple.com, and see what I do in real life. So if brothers and sisters supported the ministry and got items, just like we would do on Amazon, just like we would go and buy books, we would be where we be. And I would take those finances and build brick and mortars. But it's for the people to support. That's the only way we're going to have anything. And I'm not afraid to talk about finances, you know, because we need it. But you have to have those degrees, ascending to oneness with Allah and bring the children to Allah. For a Moorish Adept master to know the mantra, the command, or the words of power of any God form is to know how to personally commune with the God or the goddess within. And Moorish Adepts like myself and others, we are a spiritual master. We are, by use of our mantras and commands, called for the angelic spiritual beings. A peculiar rate of vibration is attached to each individual, to our spirit and our existence. It's a form of vibration that I can come around if any of y'all meet me in the flesh, I guarantee you, I walk with a halo over my head per se. Why? Because that's what the people say. It's like, I don't give myself these titles, the people do. When I come around people, you can just touch a remnant of this. And so these sounds of mantras, which our Moorish Quran tell us in chapter 7, we must understand that. So I'm just want to give y'all gratitude, man, and give y'all love for taking the time out y'all day listening to me, you know. But I'll give you I end with a little adapt prayer. And then we out of here, and I'll show y'all my books again, then we out of here. But an adapt prayer, I'll leave you with this. Elah, 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 I come to you in the heat of the day, across the hot burning sands of time, bearing my burden. Yet I have faith, hope, and love. Give me the strength to endure in thy holy name, and bless my endeavors. That I may not thirst as those who were driven from amongst men, who became debased and hid themselves in caves from your face. Forgive me of my sins, as I come repenting from all evil and wicked ways of the carnal desires, and things that I may become one with Elah, a servant worthy of your blessings, as an angel amongst the sons of men. As there is no death to spirit man, I obligate myself, my earthly form, to your cause this day, if I don't keep this obligation to you. May your wrath and the sword of the ancient forefathers strike me 7 times. So these are all prayers. Also a Moorish protection prayer. Allah is my protector by night and by day through his holy prophet Noble Ali. We do that on the 7th. And on the 10th without saying amen until you get done with the protection prayer. And then you place your right hand over your heart. They say face the east, but the closest place to find Allah in your heart. I'm just showing you tradition, some tradition I love. Allah, 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 El, Holy Son of Allah. You say this going clockwise until you get back to the east. Then step back in the middle of your circle and ask Allah to protect you from whatever you are going through. And you say amen. This stuff is in your Moorish Quran. And I bring this stuff out, even in meditation. Somebody have to resurrect the teachings. So with that, man, I say gratitude for y'all taking time out y'all day. And if you want my books, all you have to do is send a donation to Cash App $KGBay. Send me your email and I can correspond with you. I can invite you to Sunday school. I can invite you to Adapt class. I can invite you to book reading. We do all this stuff on private Zoom. And please subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube page, which is Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. So, once again, I want to show y'all my books. And I have a whole library. Anything that you need, I tell y'all, you don't have to go to Amazon. Hit me up. Inbox me at Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. Hit me up. Send me a text to my office phone, 602-473-8767. I'm a real person. I want to be touched. I want to converse with you. That's what a God man does. I'm not so high on the throne where I don't have time to talk to you, because I do. This is holistic to me. So, this is the book, Moorish American's Light of Ali. Interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. Sufism and the Triple Rule of the Adept Chamber. 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history. Euro and Negro-centric propaganda. Vegan treats. Healthy eating and living. Your body is your temple. Health is wealth. Divine pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle and our Moorish Salat. The esoteric science of the Moorish Fez. And you are what you eat. And I also have a coloring book that I don't have here in Flint with me, but I also have a coloring book as well. You can get all these books from me. You can get all 10 books PDF today. Like I said, I'm giving you a special. If you want all 10 books, you can get all 10 books from me for a $40 donation PDF. That's what I do when I'm in my ministry zone. But if you want to buy them, you can go on my company, My PDF Books, that's Books with the Z, and buyingthebooks.com. But today I'm giving you a gift. Why? Because I want to put my literature in your hands. I want everybody that's logging on here listening to me to have my literature. I want everyone that need books, that need documents, to hit me up before you go to Amazon. Why? Because you're dealing with me. And I have a full library. You should want these books downloaded on your tablet so when you travel, you can have it in your hand. So with that being said, man, I give y'all gratitude. Those that gave donation, I give y'all gratitude. Those that didn't give a donation. And when you have it on your heart, when you are in a position to give a donation, please don't hesitate, because I'm going to give. And if you want to converse with me, I gave you my email, Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. And my office number is 602-473-8767. I want you to be my personal guest, to come to class and learn, because that's the only way you're going to learn something and have a clear understanding is by learning. And my people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. So with that being said, man, everybody good? I hope so. I pray that everybody is good and in good spirits. Please keep me on your heart, man, and anything that y'all need. I'm just a phone call away. I'm just an email away. And this Thursday, I'm going to be traveling to Tampa. And so everywhere I go, I'm always in mission. I'm always in ministry. So I'm not going to shut down. So I give y'all gratitude, man, and gratitude, Noble Barclay, for your time and being one of my brothers, man. I give y'all love. And everybody on social media, peace, light, and illumination, and peace.